Hey guys, welcome back to the KingFanMan channel. I am the KingFanMan, and this is the place for all things Bethesda. Today we're going to talk about Fallout 76 and the PvP system, and they talked about it at QuakeCon and answered a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible today. Now, when you start in the world of Fallout 76 up till level 5, you cannot engage in PvP. Nobody can kill you. That is good. Now, after that, when you see someone in the world, if they want to engage in PvP and they shoot at you or hit you, it will do little damage. Todd Howard called it an invitation to fight. And you can either accept that invitation or deny that invitation. If you accept the invitation, that's when the fight starts. Now again, I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. If you win, you will get a reward. You get caps and you get the junk, or that is the loot that you get, only the junk that they have. You don't get their armor, you don't get their weapons, you don't get their ammo. All that you get is the junk that they have on their person. So you get a cap reward and you get the junk. Now we'll get into what happens after that in just a moment. Same way, if you lose, the other person gets that as well. So that's the simple system. Now if you deny that invitation, this is what happens. If that person can still kill you, okay? If you deny it, they can still kill you. But if they do, they become what is called a murderer. And when that happens, they show up on the map with a big red star as a murderer, and they can't see anybody else on the map, and they have a bounty on their head, and everybody on the map starts hunting them down, and that bounty comes out of their cap. So it sounds real fun. We're going to listen to Todd Howard in the panel talk about all that I just said, but I hope I made it very simple, and they're going to talk about it a little bit more. So listen to Todd Howard in the panel talk about some of that PvP system, and then we'll talk more about it in just a minute.
When you shoot somebody, you do a little bit of damage. You don't do full damage. It's like an invitation. It's like slapping somebody in a bar. Like, you want to fight? And like, that's annoying. But eventually, you're like, yeah, I think we're gonna. And so you do little bits of damage. If you engage, then you're doing full damage. And there's a cap reward based on the player's level. So if the player's really high level, you're going to get more caps from them than if they're low level. The issue is when you don't want to engage in it, right? Someone's coming up to you, and they're slapping you and slapping you and slapping you. And you're like, I really don't want to deal with this right now. We have a lot of ways you can get away from them, but we still like it where they do, if they keep going at it, they have the ability to kill you, which sounds terrible, right? It does. To be like, why would you do that? We like to turn that into a dramatic moment. So the player that kills somebody that didn't want to engage in it then becomes a wanted murderer. They get no reward. That's like the first applause of the panel. Murder! So there is no reward. You get no caps. You get no XP. You get nothing for becoming a wanted murderer, except for the kind of social incentives people have online to be assholes. Right. Which evidently there's quite a few. So what do we do with that? We turn the assholes into interesting content. So they appear on your map as a red star. Everybody sees them, and they have a bounty on their head. And that bounty comes out of their own caps. Oh. And they can't see the other players. So on the map. And we did this. We had this idea. Like, let's turn it. Like let's make them interesting content. And it is when this happens, when anybody murders somebody while we're playing in the office, everyone sees on the map, and it is like it's awesome. Like,
yeah, that's one of my
Now,
favorites.
I have talked from the beginning about the role-playing possibilities of this game. Think about this murder, this bounty system that they have put in. The role-playing possibilities are, again, unlimited, but imagine if you want to be a bad guy. here is another possibility of you being a bad guy. Here is a way for you to be a wanted man and to try to run from everybody on the map. And here is another way if you want to be a good guy, chasing down those that are bad. I want to show a clip here of Jeff Gardner talking about chasing down one that had a bounty on his head. Listen to this clip.
My favorite stories there. So the other day we had a big internal test, and we had played for hours, and towards the end of the test, I had leveled up. I had actually started early, and so I was higher level than a lot of the other people, and I saw that red star, and I was almost about to log off, and I was like, oh, now I'm going to get somebody. So I had built a sniper rifle, right? I found a hunting rifle on a super mutant, and I built a little scope, and I extended the barrel, and I was like, I finally get to use this. So I fast traveled near them. Now on the map, remember, you see where they are. It's not super up. It's a little relative, so it's not super pinpointy, but you'll know generally where they are. So I'm sneaking, because when you sneak in our game, your appearance on the map disappears, no matter what state you're in, except for wanted. So my pip doesn't appear, and I'm sneaking, and I see him in a building, and I see him moving around, and he comes wandering out, and I took his head off with my sniper rifle. And he drops down. I go running up. I loot his junk. I danced, took a picture over his corpse, and logged off.
Now, after you engage in this PvP, if you lose, there is a way that you can engage in a revenge. The game will give you an option to try to revenge, and if you do that, not only can you get your loot back if you win, you will get double the caps reward. So that's an incentive to try to do it again, okay? But now this was music to my ears, and it may be to you as well. Those of us that don't like PvP at all, and some of us that was wanting to not do PvP at all, when they said this, there is a way that you can ignore players totally, where they can't even see you on the map. And this is not what I mean by when you crouch. Of course, nobody can see you on the map. But if someone is slapping you, and you keep ignoring them, saying, no, I don't want to fight, no, I don't want to fight, there is a way that you can mute them where they cannot talk to you. And by the way, yes, there is going to be a chat. They did acknowledge that. But you can block them where they cannot even see you on the map. There is fast travel in this game. Of course, that has been acknowledged. Also, if you do engage in this PvP, and let's say you lose and it was somebody that's stronger than you and you don't want to be messed with again, there is a way that you can respawn in another place. You can respawn in the closest away point or at Vault 76 for free, or you can go anywhere on the map, but anywhere else will cost some caps. But that again is a way of fast travel or for respawn.
Remember, for people who have more questions on PvP and can already see some exploits that might not be fun, we do allow you to ignore and block players too. So you can actually, when you die, or at any time, honestly, but especially when you die, we have an option there for if you're just done with that, you can ignore them for that session. Then they can't see you on the map. They won't be able to still mess with you.
They also added a neat thing that is called the pacifist flag. And this is a way that you turn off that slap feature to your bullets. And of course, this would be something you'd want to use if you're in a group, but it's also something if you don't want to engage in PvP at all, so that you will not slap anybody in the world. So that's a very neat thing. It's called the pacifist flag, and you turn off that PvP system. And of course, that's going to be kind of me most of the time, that I don't really want to engage in this. So it's really good, these two features, that you can block people and turn them off and not engage in the PvP, and this pacifist flag where you can kind of say, you know, I don't want to be involved in the PvP system. So it's kind of like Todd Howard said at the very start, that they want some tension. And you need that. You don't want to be able to just say, I don't want PvP at all. Because remember, we need some raiders in the world. But you don't want someone just hounding you over and over and over. That's when you want to say, hey, you know, just get out of my way.
We want this element of danger, it sounds weird to say, without griefing, which is like, okay, those things are often in conflict.
We also are entering a pacifist flag, so your bullets won't do that slap to people. So you don't have to worry about, I'm fighting something, some idiot jumped in front of my bullets and tried to get me in PvP. We're allowing you to turn that off too.
People were abusing that in the studio.
Yeah.
The pacifist flag.
Well, no, they would wait till you go shoot a creature and they would jump in front of the bullet.
Right.
Now, there was a fear expressed to me several times from the very beginning. And you know, I've been very positive about this, saying that, hey, the bad guys are going to be the raiders, and we need that. And over and over and over, people have said, yeah, but there's no raiders that are wearing power armor and grouping up and coming at you. Well, they were very clear that there is a power curve. So the lowest person to the highest person still has a chance of winning. And if you engage in a PvP match with someone higher, the reward for winning will be higher. The higher person you go against, the higher the reward. So there's incentive against fighting someone high. So they made it very fair. So don't think that the game is going to be totally stacked against you, that there's going to be these, you know, huge groups of people that are going to come at you as soon as you get to level 6 that are going to kill you. I know we have these fears, but I believe Bethesda Game Studios has put in place these systems to protect against those things and have made a way for you to get out of it if you can't handle it.
If you are a higher level character with higher level armor, higher level weaponry, how do I even have a chance? And I get the slap mechanic, but if I want to engage and I'm a lower level character, am I just going to get destroyed instantly?
We struggled with that. So what we've done is there's two sort of power curves. You have the usual power curve against creatures in the world that you're used to in our games. And then, so if you take a power curve from like low damage to high damage, in PvP we normalize it, okay? So just a knife is gonna come up in damage and the really powerful things are gonna come down. So they feel right, but the death in PvP is quicker, and it works the same for armor. So if you play other multiplayer games, the guy in power armor with a minigun is obviously gonna be harder.
Right.
But if you get the drop on him with a knife, it does kind of work. And it makes it more fun without it being, well, I have no chance whatsoever. Again, there's still a ramp there. It's just, you know, normalized.
Cool. Nukes.
And you get the caps, all right? So that's the other thing. Is
Right.
why do I want to go try to kill a level 100 person in power armor with when I'm low level? Is that my reward is going to be way higher.
Now, there was one more little thing, or what other people might deem as little, but it was very important when you think about it. They mentioned that there were protected containers around the map that no one else could touch except for you, the player, that you could place your items in, including your junk. Now remember, in this PvP system, if you lose your junk, like the duct tape and the glue and the stuff that you scrap, the scrap material. We all remember that from Fallout 4 very vividly, how hard it is to get duct tape sometimes. So these places, you will not only have these in your camps, there will be these protected containers around the map. So you'll want to dump your junk whenever you can so that you won't lose this if you happen to get in a PvP match with one of these raiders around the map. So that's a very important thing and a very good thing that Bethesda Game Studios put in Fallout 76. We've covered a lot of information in this video. I wanted to keep it very simple, so I hope you've understood it. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, because there was a lot more covered in the panel. But again, I wanted to leave it as simple as possible. Just to recap, just for a minute, and again, I want your feedback on what you think about this new PvP system and how they explained it. When you're in the world, if someone wants to engage in PvP, they will shoot at you or hit you, and it's an invitation for PvP. It will do very little damage, and you can either accept that or deny that, which is, I think, a very good way to do it. And if you deny that, then that normally ends it right there. If you accept it, of course, the battle continues. I think that makes it very, very simple. And then, of course, it continues on from there. If you have any other questions about the PvP system, again, please leave it down in the comments. I also would love to hear your comments about this video, about this channel, or anything about Fallout 76 or about QuakeCon. Hey, remember, we also have Discord. We can continue to talk about this or anything Bethesda on Discord. You can connect with me or anybody in this community. I would love for you to use Discord. It's a great way to stay connected. Also, please check out my Patreon page. I would love to have that support. Again, the trip to QuakeCon was very expensive. I would love to have that support. if you can and if you're able, please check that out as well. It is great to be back home. It is, well, I'm not home. I'm now doing pastorally stuff. I had to run to the hospital late last night, so forgive the audio and the quickness. I'm not in the King's Corner again, but I meant to mention, please check out episode 4 of the Gaming Insight Crew. I will leave a link down below. It is out. It is on Skullsy's channel, but it is out. I got to do that podcast while I was in Dallas. That was a lot of fun. Me, Play It Forward, and Skullsy, so please check that out as well. And hey, if you're not subscribed, you better hit that button or I'll show you what PvP really is. I am the KingFanMan, and I'll see you guys next time.